We are an experience-based business that just so happens to do detailing. I can't tell you how many people are like, yeah, I called 4 other companies and no one answered. People do business with people. When I look at all the top competitors that we have for window tinting, for detailing, almost none of them are willing to be in front of a camera. When I'm calling people, I'm trying to unqualify them, ask questions to make sure this is something that they need. People can sense whether or not you're genuine or whether or not you're just trying to sell and push this service. Don't focus on the chemicals, the products. It's not as important as you think. Focus on the customer service. I was looking for businesses to start, and the service-based businesses really jumped out to me. I'm like, I want to do something local, my local town. And I think that being a service-based business, a lot of the times it's lower overhead because you're using most of your own labor. You're also able to start up and connect with people easier. So I saw that as a better way to grow. And then I got an email from Ty Lopez, social media influencer kind of guy, posted this email, 3 business ideas that you can start today, low overhead. And one of them was mobile car wash. For whatever reason, that idea just called out to me. I think probably because my brother is a car guy and I wanted to partner with him. So I was the brains, my brother was more of the muscle, and we partnered on Belk Mobile Detailing in November of 2019. I took my knowledge with website creation, which was still very new and fresh. I was not an expert by any means, but created the Facebook page and the website, set up our booking software, and started doing some Facebook ads. So that's how we started.
Wow. Okay. Was it car washing, or did you guys hop right into detailing all around when you're doing your window tinting, ceramic coatings, cleaning, everything that goes into detailing?
It's progressed over the years to incorporate more of these services. But at first, it was very basic detailing. I think our setup at the beginning was a vacuum, a pressure washer. We may not even have had a pressure washer. It may have just been a hose with a garden hose attachment on the end with some towels. It was very basic detailing. Now, you're able to get a lot done with that. But yeah, we didn't have an extractor for shampooing anything. We didn't have a steamer, which helps a bunch with interior detailing. And we didn't have buffers or polishers to polish and do paint correction. We definitely didn't have window tinting stuff back then.
Okay. So when you first started out, what was it like getting those first clients? Was it friends and family and then branch out through there and word of mouth? Or you mentioned Facebook ads. We're definitely going to get to that too. But what was the order of operations for day one?
Yeah, I think that I overvalued Facebook and I undervalued friends and family at the beginning. So I thought like, I'm going to do this giveaway. That was really popular back in 2019, 2018, these like giveaways. It's still fairly popular, I think, but it was super popular back then. Like that's how you could grow kind of an online presence. So I had this idea. I was like, I'm going to give away 1 free detail every month for an entire year. All you got to do is enter your name, your email, and your phone number. And I'm going to run this Facebook ad campaign and it's just going to blow up. And I'm going to have like hundreds of people that come in and then I'm going to shoot them all offers if they don't win. And then we're going to have a bunch of people that end up booking the detail. I ran that for a few weeks and the person I reached out to that won the giveaway didn't even want the detail. They're like, I'm not interested in it, actually. And everyone that we sent the offer to afterwards, I can't remember if it was like 50% off or whatever, but no one booked it. At first, we tried that giveaway. We tried Facebook ads, and it was very, very difficult to get started on that. But the friends and family definitely started to trickle in the beginning. And, you know, my mom would send out text messages to all her friends and say, hey, my boys are starting up a mobile car detailing business. If you're looking to have your car detailed, here's their number. You know, she would add us to a group chat and send it out to like a few of her friends. And then just her posting on her Facebook too. So my mom was a big help when we first started.
Nice. Shout out to moms everywhere who enable entrepreneurs.
Yes.
We can't do it without you.
That's right.
Okay. So starting from the ground up, getting scrappy. So let's get some context here. Where is Belk detailing right now in terms of like top line approximately? So you started at the ground up from zero, and what's the size of the company right now?
We're doing about $400K in sales a year.
Nice. Okay, awesome. All right, so and I'm gonna step back and let's talk about the evolution. So you got off the ground, you're doing friends and family. You tried Facebook for a little giveaway, didn't work at all. What were the next steps in growth? And I guess at this time, what did you have in terms of assets? Did you guys have a truck with your power washer and your hose? And what were the requirements? Like, do you just roll up and charge let me know what number, and then plug into their hose and you're in and out in an hour? What did the actual process look like?
Yeah, so we borrowed our customers' power and water, and we still do to this day. We've never really had a problem. There's a few people with apartments or businesses that was it could become a problem, but for 95% of our customers, totally fine to use their power and water. So yeah, we just pulled up with our personal vehicles. We didn't have a van, we didn't have a truck. Just threw everything in the trunk or in the back seat of our cars and pulled up to the house. Yeah, let them know the price. Our prices back then were very cheap. We were charging $50, $60 for a full detail. Our very first one that we did was $30. So that was inside and out. We probably spent 2.5 hours on it with 2 people.
Yeah, the effective hourly rate might have been a little low.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So fast forward, what does it look like today? Now, you had mentioned before you hit record that mobile is, are you guys shifting away from mobile and now you have your own shop? What does business look like? Let's fast forward and then we'll kind of hop and skip between the years here.
Yeah, no. So we've got a shop today. We got a shop 2 years ago. And I think that evolved naturally. We had customers that started to ask if they could drop it off. We had people that wanted us to pick their vehicle up. And so we were bringing it back to our home and doing it in our home garage and in our driveway. And then at some point, I think our neighbors started to get a little irritated. And, it was just not super professional to have people come into your house. So the natural evolution of it felt right to get a shop. Plus, being in the Midwest, we don't have horrible winters, but you're still fighting the elements, I would say, in the super hot months. You can put up a canopy, and we oftentimes do that when we're doing mobile jobs in the summer, but it's so much easier if you have like a bay or a garage that you can pull the vehicle under. And then in the cold months, you're just fighting with below freezing temperatures. The chemicals aren't working properly, and you're freezing. So we kind of felt like it would be nice to have a shop so that we could stay more year round, at least here in the Midwest.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you guys just serve the Springfield area?
Yep. And then some of the surrounding towns. But I mean, we've had people come from 2 hours away and drop their car off. And I would say the reason that is because of social media.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk, I want to talk some more numbers and services here. So can you start by detailing what are all the services that are encompassed when, like if I were to come in and say, hey, I want the full Monty, give me all of it, and I need my windows tinted. What's all part of that detailing? What does a ceramic coating look like? What is a window tinting? What's the process for everything you offer?
Yeah, sure. So I would say we've got a few different kinds of clientele, one of which they just bought a brand new vehicle and they want to protect it and they want to get their windows tinted. And so ceramic coatings and paint protection film are the best options for protecting a vehicle. Now, we don't do paint protection film at this time. That's something that we'll be getting into soon. But it's like a screensaver, like that you would put on your iPhone, but for your car. Whereas the ceramic coating it's a liquid that is applied to the vehicle and it hardens into a glass shield. So it lasts for many years when properly maintained, whereas a wax usually lasts for a few months. So it's going to protect more against environmental damage, the ceramic coating, and it's going to make the car really shiny and easy to wash. So someone comes in with a brand new vehicle, oftentimes they're asking for a ceramic coating to protect it, make it easier for them to wash, help enhance the shine, and then window tinting just to add to the style and make it cooler in the summer months. And then the other person is someone that's got a used vehicle. Sometimes it's a few months, sometimes it's a decade, and they're wanting to get it cleaned up, just a typical detail. Sometimes it's just the inside, sometimes it's inside and outside. And so usually with that, there's it's like messes from kids. I've got 4 kids and, they've trashed the vehicle. So we're kind of going in and sometimes that can mean shampooing the seats, the carpets. Sometimes there's sticky stuff in the cup holders. That's always a chore.
That's all the time. I've got 4 kids. I can tell you the amount of melted crayons in the backseat cup holders is enough to not make it a very useful cup holder anymore.
Yeah. If I was hearing that and you had called in, I would not be very happy.
Yeah,
we get that a lot.
I'm the guy you don't want me bringing in my minivan. I'll bring you the truck because I don't let anybody mess around in that.
Yeah, and I think that and we do those jobs. Don't get me wrong, but man, it's It's difficult to do those jobs long term. I think that's kind of why the natural evolution of detailing businesses is like to focus more on doing maintenance details, like for like cleaner vehicles or just keeping up with your customers so the vehicles don't get quite as dirty. Now that's easier said than done because in the beginning, it's easy, low hanging fruit to do the dirty cars. And, you're just going to focus on customer service and getting them in quick. People don't want to wait. But over time, you start to get a little bit more selective on who you take on.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a basic detail for my knowledge and anyone else out there, that's where like, hey, I'm bringing you my car. My dashboards are all dusty. The floor needs vacuuming. Cup holders need cleaning out a little bit. That's a basic detail, right? Like basically the stuff that I should do on a Saturday afternoon, but I don't have the time or I don't want to do it anymore, right? That's a basic detail.
Yeah, I would say we're a little bit different in that regards because so our standard detail package is actually fairly comprehensive. So you have some companies that have like a quick vacuum and a wipe down as their basic. And then they do like shampooing and steam cleaning is like they're more advanced. Now for us, when you book a detail with us, we basically reset the vehicle to new and whatever that requires is what we do. So we quote your vehicle to reset it to new. And if we need to shampoo or we need to pull out the steamer, or if we just need to do a quicker vacuum and wipe down, then we'll do that. And then we just quote appropriately.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's start talking numbers a little bit. What is like in terms of your pricing? I'd be curious to know how you increased your pricing over the years. I guess more importantly, what does it look like now? So like for a basic detail, is it a custom price? Do you guys have set pricing? How does that all work for you?
Yep. So we're trying to quote based on hourly rate. We want to try to do with two guys $100 an hour. But sometimes it's 75, sometimes it's 150. So we have a range today, and a standard interior detailing range on a 2-row vehicle is $200 to $300. So if someone calls in and they say, I have a sedan, a Toyota Camry, and it's in decent shape, maybe it's got a little bit of pet hair, it's not super trashed, but it hasn't been cleaned in a few years. I've got a kid, but nothing crazy. I would tell them it's going to be $200 to $300. And once we get there, we'll take a look at it, inspect it, and let you know a final price. Now, if it's a vehicle that's got tons of pet hair, tons of messes from kids, and I'm thinking this is going to be a 4-hour detail, then I might quote them $400 to $500 for just the inside. So our interior details usually range from like $200 to $300 is pretty typical. And then a full detail is usually $300 to $400 is pretty typical. Now, larger vehicles might be a little bit more than that, upwards of $400 to $500. But at the beginning, we were charging, like I said, $30 was our first detail that we ever did. And then slowly, and Austin, my brother, was like, man, this is just not worth it doing these kinds of cars for this price. And I was like, Austin, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly raise it over time as we build up experience, as our reviews build up on Google, as our referrals and word of mouth start to come in, we'll slowly bring it up. And that's exactly what we did. So we went from charging 30 to 50 to 90 to 120. And even today, we have customers that spent $80 with us in 2021 that come back for a detail. And we go, hey, we just want you to know we've raised our prices pretty substantially since you were there and since you were here last. And a lot of the times they're totally fine with paying it. They're like, I'm so excited to see you guys have grown. I appreciate that you guys were upfront and honest about it. And we tell them like we've incorporated a lot of new things and we do a better job today. We've got better equipment. And so a lot of the times they're willing to give us another shot to experience what our new level of detailing is like.
What does your customer retention look like? And do you guys have any form of subscription service?
So we don't focus too heavily on a subscription service, and everyone tells me I should. From our experience, it's kind of called maintenance details in the detailing industry. And it's something that a lot of detailing companies focus on. It's this idea of like, I'm going to set up a client on like a monthly or every 2 weeks or every quarter. I'm going to put them on regularly for that. What we found is that, at least for us, it's very difficult for us to like have reduced membership pricing and still travel mobily to do these vehicles, or even at the shop, just because we're so limited on space. So it's like I could do a $150 maintenance membership detail once a month. It's still going to probably take me to do a good job. It's still going to probably take me 2 hours to do inside and out. And so it really made more sense in our eyes to not focus quite as heavily on that. And maybe rather than trying to get these people to book a detail every month or every 2 weeks, it's like, let's do a really, really good job once a quarter, max. Now, we do have a few clients that they're like weekly and they've got tons of money and they still pay us to where we're making $100 an hour. But most of our customers tend to have a detail done. If they're very wealthy, 4 times a year. Most of them is like 1 to 2 times a year, and we do a really good job. We're not doing a quicker cleaning every month. We just don't offer that at this time. Now, at some point we may, but with just the manpower that we have and the space that we have available, we haven't found it to make sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and it's one of those things where, and I'm sure you, like you said, you get that question all the time. The subscription model might not be necessary if you just, A, you answer the phone, B, you provide a great quote, and C, you provide great service. Like, people are going to need their car detailed again at some point, and they're going to remember that you did it. And as well as if you stay in contact with them and you handle your marketing and keep that in a row, then, dealing with a subscription service might not be worth the headache because they're coming back as if they're on a subscription anyway.
That's been our thinking. Yep. We send out tons of emails. You get an email 3 months, every single person 3 months after your detail, and that's helped substantially with increasing repeat business. We post on our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We post on those all the time. It's daily. I have a virtual assistant that helps with that. So it's all those other things. It's not like we forget about our customers. We're still trying to do an incredible job to where they're like, man, I want to do business with them again just because my experience was so amazing.
Yeah. So let's go down that rabbit hole. What do you guys do to ensure that their experience is amazing? And then I'm going to ask you a bunch of marketing questions too.
Okay. Well, I have a podcast where my guests would put our personalized experience to shame. So if you really want to know what the best detailers are doing, go listen to the guests because, man, like Grant Menard, for example, this guy has built a multi-million-dollar detailing business. And on his website, the first thing you'll see is we are an experience-based business that just so happens to do detailing. My buddy down in Joplin, which is about an hour away, he also has been really heavily focused on this recently. Like one of the things that he does is he gives every customer a little piece of chocolate from a local company, a bottle of water, and he takes a photo with a Polaroid camera of one of his guys working on the customer's vehicles and sticks it in that little chocolate wrapper with a business card. And they get that at the end of every detail. So that's like that. It has nothing to do with detailing, but it just helps to separate you from the competition. Grant Menard on my podcast told me to read this book called The 7 Secrets of Disney. It was an incredible book because it talks about how everyone's your competition, right? Like, even if you're not in the automotive space, not even in the detailing space, you're still competition to us because your experience at Disney World, for example, while it has nothing to do with cars, it's still something that you're comparing to your experience with us. And so if we make you feel special and you feel some type of way when you come and do business with us and you go to Disney and it's just not quite so much, it's like that's how we're in competition with everyone essentially. So I think that book was really awakening. Now, at Belk, one of the things that we've always tried to do is just have great customer service. So when someone's without their vehicle, like they're without their freedom. So we want to try to get the vehicle in and out as quickly as possible and keep them updated if it's going longer or just anything that we can do to communicate to the customer that like, hey, I haven't forgot about you. And this is about how long it's going to take. It's going to take about 3 to 4 hours. If you get 3 hours in and you're like, it's going to be closer to 5, let them know that. Setting proper expectations, like letting them know what will and won't come out. Like that's another part of the experience. I talked about this on one of the episodes I did on my podcast recently is like, take the guy that has horrible communication, but maybe can get out a few more stains than you can, but nonetheless doesn't ever really communicate like what will or won't come out. He, in my opinion, won't have as successful as a detailing business as the guy who maybe isn't quite as good of a detailer, but has that great communication skills. So just the communication throughout the entire process, answering the phone as quickly as possible, calling people back as quickly as possible. Like, I can't tell you how many people, whenever they call into us, they're like, yeah, I called 4 other companies and no one answered. It's just like easy
Yeah.
things like that I think is what creates the experience at Belk.
Yeah, dude. Small business, small service-based business is a communications business. And it stinks because you expect the big dogs like Home Depot's not going to treat you that great, right? They're just a huge company or just a number. But everybody in their mind is, well, a small business, they're going to answer the phone. They're going to be able to treat me right. They're going, they're going to put the little hotel mint on my car when they're done detailing it type of thing. But I feel like nowadays, even that in small business has been lost. And it's all comes back to communication. If you just communicate with your clients, with your prospects, especially when you're trying to book new business, like you said, if you just answer the dang phone, you have now separated yourself from 95% of your competition. And there's so many small businesses who don't understand that very simple concept that every call that comes in, it has to be answered if you want to grow your business. And if something gets missed, you call them right back. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just not. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Have you read the E-Myth?
Yeah, great book.
So I wonder how much of that has to do with the fact that people are getting into small businesses or getting into business for the fact that they enjoy to do this, or they've got this like idea in their head of what it will be like. And then they get into it. And like in the E-Myth, they realize how much there actually is to it. And so they kind of drop the ball.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a lot of experience with this and working with smaller service-based companies where we'll encounter business owners where it's like, maybe they just bought a business and they're like, oh, I just wanted to own this business. I didn't know I had to run it and make the decisions and keep people employed. And it's like, guy or gal, like, sorry, this is small business. You are everything. Now you grow it to the point where you can start delegating and you start, being able to have the freedom you desired when you started the business. But there is so much to it. And I agree with you that it's not thought of. And then when a business gets established, they're doing 400 or 500, maybe $1 million, in revenue. Although to get to that point, you really got to have some ducks in a row. But they forget the simple things, but they do just enough to get by to have a quote unquote successful business. But half the time, everybody's hair's on fire. And to me, that's no way to run a business.
Yeah, systems, man, that's another thing that we've realized as we've grown. Like, you have to develop those systems, and you have to have employees that they can follow the systems, but they can also critically think. I think that is still important. You don't just want a bunch of robots. That's not how you grow a business. Like, when I look at why we're successful today, it's in large part because of the team. So I think everyone at Belk would say that they feel like they matter and they feel like their opinion matters.
Let's talk about your team. How big is your team right now?
So it's my brother, Blake, Jared, Sergey, all full time. And then we've got a 1099 window tint contractor. And then we've got a virtual assistant from the Philippines. And she's amazing. Huge help.
Yeah. So lean and mean. What was it like when you realized, okay, we need to grow the team. We need to hire our first person not named Belk. What was that experience like? And I guess what trajectory are you on for needing more help?
Yeah. So when we were starting to get more booked out, and naturally as your referrals start to increase and people are finding you on Google and social media, you start to be booked out 1 to 2 weeks. And it's like, hey, we need to hire someone to get this wait time down. It's simple math is like, if we're only able to detail 1 car a day, we're only going to have 1 person referring us, 1 person leaving a review. If we can do 2 cars a day because we have help, then we're going to have 2 times as many people referring us. We're building our reviews quicker. We're going to be increasing the repeat business. And I think people just don't want to wait much longer than about a week and a half. So we realized once we started to get more booked out that we needed help. And we actually had, I think almost every single one of our employees has reached out to us. And I think that just is I think that's a testament to how good of a job we do at social media and our Google presence and are just being personable on our website. I think people they can see the personality of the business and feel the energy by just looking at our website and our social media. And a lot of people want to be a part of that. So our first employee reached out to us and she was like, as soon as I saw you, I knew that you guys were who I wanted to work for. And so she worked for us for about 3 years. And Blake, who is also full-time, he's been with us the second longest. And he was someone that I actually reached out to. So he was a local detailer in my area, just had started up. And I thought that we had a lot of the same things in common. And so I reached out to him and offered him to partner up with us and come and work for us. So he agreed to that. But yeah, employees have been huge. I don't think that we definitely wouldn't be where we are if we didn't have the team we do.
Nice. So how do you know when it's time to grow again? I guess I should lead with, what are your aspirations for growth? And then how do you backtrack and figure out when it's time to hire more help?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's that tough spot as a small business owner where you're always looking at like your profit and loss statements and you're saying, do we have enough income to hire someone? And oftentimes the answer is no. So it's like, I have to work harder. I have to like go into overdrive right now to try to increase the business to where I can hire someone, or I have to take like one step back. Maybe I don't pay myself quite as much this year, this month, and hire someone else. And then with the hope that, with this added person, with some increased marketing budget, that then we will be able to then become profitable again. So it's just that tough balance between like, are we really able to hire someone? It's really tough. That's one of the biggest problems and issues that we deal with. So going forward, we're just continuing to do what we do. I think that naturally referrals and repeat business grows the business. We've done a really good job over the past 8 months, 9 months with hiring our virtual assistant and posting every day on our social media. And that I think has helped significantly and will continue to. Just separating ourselves from everyone because people do business with people. And when I look at all the top competitors that we have for window tinting, for detailing, almost none of them are willing to be in front of a camera. And so when our customers, I think, are going to our Facebook and Instagram and they see who we are and they see that we're genuine, I think that it's helped significantly with just people connecting more with us and choosing us over the competition. So we will continue to do good marketing on YouTube and having those videos on our website and posting daily on our social media. We will continue to do that. And I think that will help us grow, especially as we expand into new services like paint protection film. And as we start doing window tinting more and more. And so we're kind of looking at like how long we're booked out. Right now, we're booked out for about a week and a half. And we're asking ourselves like, okay, are we ready to hire someone else on? Do we have the space in the shop? We don't want to be booked out for much longer than that. So I think if we can kind of bring that wait time down, then I can look at that and be like, okay, we can afford to hire someone.
All right, so we've danced around it for a few minutes here. Let's talk marketing. That's my wheelhouse. I love marketing, but I love hearing how businesses like yours utilize it. And you've already given us some hints as to how you do it with social media, YouTube, your website. What does your marketing apparatus look like now, and how do you guys ultimately bring in new business outside of referrals?
So yeah, referrals are definitely number one, and repeat business is number two. And then Google. Google has been huge. So Google SEO, having reviews, just having good 5-star reviews where customers are leaving the keyword car detailing, ceramic coating, window tinting in the review. That has helped a lot. Having a website that's fairly fast to load that has, I think that they say, I'm not the best at SEO, but I think it's 500 words minimum per page, maybe 750.
Yeah, we say about 600 on average.
Okay. So there you go.
Yeah.
And then buttons, tons of buttons. I'm always asking people at every point on the website, like, it's not overwhelming, but I'm just asking them, are they ready to make a decision? Are they ready for a quote? So when they come
Always be
on,
one click away, right?
yep. So when they come on our website from Google, then the website needs to convert. Other than that, social media has been starting to really help posting daily. We are running Google ads and Facebook ads right now. So we spend about $50 a day on Google. We just want to overwhelm our competition on Google. I mean, we're already very high for a lot of our keywords, but we still want to be just number one all the time. So we're very heavily invested into Google ads and just Google SEO. And then on Facebook, I think that Facebook, you can't just run ads if you're not posting every day. So it's a combination of, do you have good media, split testing things, posting every day, and doing that consistently. Like, I just don't see how you can run Facebook ads for a month and expect to see a return. It's something you have to commit to doing.
How do you see in terms of, I don't like the term lead quality because I have multiple reasons behind that, but the type of lead that comes in through a Facebook lead gen ad versus a Google search campaign or your Google profile?
Yeah, so the Google search profile, Google ads are definitely better clients. They're looking for the service.
They're problem aware, right? Yeah.
Yes. Whereas the Facebook ads are tomorrow customers. They're people that maybe don't have a new car yet, but they've been seeing our ad for 6 months and they're getting ready to get a new car. And then when they buy the new car and they see our ad again for the 20th time, they give us a call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's your infrastructure like for closing new inquiries? Like, what's the process if I were, let's say I saw your ad and I submitted my information, what's the process like for you getting in contact with me to get me booked?
For one, I try to reach out as soon as possible.
There you go.
So I think if I wait
Test
24
passed.
hours, you're going to be a lot less likely.
Oh, if you wait more than 5 minutes, the chances go down by like 85%. It's insane.
Yeah. So that's a role that we're actually looking to hire for, is like a sales role. And that role may entail a little bit of detailing. I'm currently the one that does that role. But yeah, I know how important it is to call the person within that first 5 minutes. And sometimes it's difficult when we're doing the detailing and I'm still involved with other things. But yeah, I'm reaching out as quickly as I possibly can. And usually it's something along the lines of, hey, Brian, it's Josh with Belk Detailing. I saw you were interested in a ceramic coating for your 2024 GMC Sierra. I just had a few questions for you. I wanted to get you some pricing info. Do you have a second? And then most of the time, especially recently, everyone's been very friendly on Facebook ads. It's like, oh yeah, no, hey, what's up, Josh? They almost feel like they're a friend. And I attribute that to just having good ads where we're being personable and having run them now for a little over 6 months. We've been running them and posting daily as well. So I think that there's almost like a connection that's already been built before I reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
And not everyone's like that, but
yeah, but and now it all comes down to communication and how you communicate, how you operate your business and who you are. And in the greater scheme of things now, referencing back to SEO, which is now, it's starting to shift into generative. So like GEO, but Google is checking your credibility across all sorts of mediums. So the fact that you're present across all social, on YouTube, your profile, your website, any other places, like if you get interviewed by the local news or something, these are all positive markers to Google that you are credible and an authority in your space. Hosting a podcast, being searchable through podcasts, that's a great way to do it. So like a business like yours, you are positioned to dominate because of the efforts you put into these things. So, but also I think that shows when people, like when you contact them the first time, like you said, they're somewhat familiar with you, whether it's through your ads or through having Googled you before or seeing your YouTube channel or whatever it might be. Now that also takes their guard down a little bit, right? Like, because when people get a call from, they're like, even if they submitted their information, they're like, oh, it's a sales call. It's like, you wanted us to call you, but now they're like, oh yeah, I'm expecting you to call me. Like, thanks for calling me. Let me get scheduled.
Yep. And nowadays,
such a huge difference.
It is. And you really have to do everything well. I think nowadays you can't just do one thing well. But a lot of the times when I'm calling people, I'm trying to unqualify them. I'm like, why do you not need our service? So I think that's
Right.
been a big thing is like sales is one of the things I hate. And
Mm.
I don't think I'm very good at it, but I have people that tell me otherwise. I still think it's something that we need to hire out, but I'm always trying to ask questions to make sure this is something that they need. And I think people can sense whether or not you're genuine or whether or not you're just trying to sell and push this service. A lot of my phone calls with our customers is a lot of questions. It depends on what it is. If it's window tinting, it's usually pretty straightforward. Like most people know what window tinting is. They're really just looking for a price. They want to know when your availability is. They want to make sure that they trust you. But with like something like a ceramic coating or with detailing, especially with the ceramic coating, it's a little bit more building trust, asking questions.
Yeah, well, and I think you're right. People pick up on that because people can detect honesty awfully fast. And if you're approaching sales from the standpoint of, I don't need your business. I'd like to have your business, but I also don't need it because if you aren't the right fit, I'm not going to sell you. People can pick up on that subconsciously right away. And I think that's a secret weapon when it comes to sales because it doesn't feel like you're selling or, it doesn't have that air of sales to it, but you're just being honest and transparent. And if somebody has like, a car that is not a good fit for you, or like, hey, I'm not going to sell you tinting because I wouldn't recommend it on a car like that, or whatever that might be, right? Or your car's 1,000 years old, so you don't need a ceramic coating. I'm sorry, like I'm not going to sell you that.
Yeah.
Like people detect that honesty, and that is, I think that's a coveted skill to have, especially in local service businesses these days, because so many service business owners don't have that skill.
Yep. And it's definitely
Yeah.
helped like having confidence, knowing that we're still booked out, that there's still going to be business coming the door if I turn away this customer. Like that is a tremendous help. It's just trusting. It's like trusting that I don't need this person if they're not the right person for it. It's okay to tell them like I wouldn't recommend getting this done. Maybe this is a better alternative. Even if I have to recommend them to another company, that's okay. And just having the confidence to be okay with that. I think that, like you said, people sense that in your tone and in your voice, and it actually ends up helping you in the end.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we're rounding out our time here. I want to ask you, what have been the either the biggest struggles or the longest plateaus you've hit, and how have you gotten past those since you started from zero and you guys are doing over 400K top line these days?
So I would say growth was fairly steady and actually fairly rapid in the beginning. Once we kind of got over that initial hump with COVID and we started to figure out some of the Facebook ads and have some attractive offers around holidays, like that was a huge help on Facebook ads. Then at that point, it was just about doing a good job and just getting our wait time down. So we grew from 6K in May of 2020 to 12K within May of 2021. And we kind of grew up to about 25, 30,000 a month pretty rapidly. And then we plateaued pretty heavy at that point. And then we've now started to get over that where we're doing closer to the 40K a month. And that I contribute to social media and being personable. But it's everything else too. It's the cycle of everything. It's having good sales and posting every day and being personable, having YouTube videos on the site, calling customers quickly. It's everything, but just being personable and being on social media and then running ads, like all that I think is really what's pushed us over that plateau. And it's what's going to take us to the $1 million mark.
Absolutely. And then you also mentioned there are a few positions that you're looking to grow out of, like the sales role. Do you guys still do all of your own marketing? Like, is that all still on your end? Or I know you hired a VA, so that's definitely, I'm trying to get to one of the first few hires outside of fulfillment that a company like yours could look at.
I think definitely sales. Like that's definitely the role. So we do most of our marketing in-house. I have a consultant that kind of coaches me who works with some other detailing businesses. And he's kind of helped to just check in. But yeah, the first role I would say outside of like a detailer would definitely be sales. And that seems to be the case with all of these other detailing businesses that I interview on the podcast.
Okay. Gotcha. I love it. Well, Josh, this has been awesome. I could probably keep going for another hour just peppering you with questions here, but I know you're a busy man. You got money to go make. I want to make sure that anybody out there listening today, if they want to learn more about you, check out your stuff, see you guys on social media, what are the best ways to do so?
So our personal social media for our business is Belk Mobile Detailing, Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And then my podcast where I talk to other detailing business owners, some mobile, some shop, that is Road to 1 Million. Road to 1 Million Detailing. So you can find us on Spotify and Instagram and YouTube. So I post episodes every week on there. And I think that's been a big help for me and for a lot of other detailers as well.
Someone, I think we're talking to a lot of people in our audience who have either thought about this, actively thinking about it, or maybe were just exposed to mobile detailing or car detailing in general as a possible business idea or business avenue. If you had one piece of advice for those who are just considering or maybe just starting out in starting a detailing business, what would that be?
Oh, easy. Don't focus on the chemicals, the products. It's not as important as you think. Focus on the customer service.
There you go. Boom. I love it. Well, Josh, man, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your time and knowledge with us. There's definitely a ton of actionable advice and inspiration that I think a lot of people can glean for this. So thank you so much and best of luck to you guys in the rest of 2025.
Thank you, Brian. It's been a pleasure.